TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israel has entered into the 26th day of war since the Hamas and its terror affiliates in the Gaza Strip launched a brutal onslaught, perpetrating a massacre of over 1,400 mostly civilians in southern Israel. Despite the Houthi declaration of war in Israel, its repeated attacks failed to challenge Israel's multi-layered aerial defense array. The Islamic Republic of Iran threatens both Israel and the United States with war, while Türkiye warns of war between the Crescent and the Cross. Israel will continue to fight the Islamist forces of evil in the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip while standing at the ready to face any regional threat. Fierce battles continue to rage throughout the terror-infested Palestinian enclave, where dozens of terrorists were successfully eliminated over the past 24 hours alone. Regrettably, the cost of war does not spare Israel, with the IDF confirming that 13 troops have fallen during an ambush of an anti-tank Hamas cell before the latter was successfully eliminated.
We are in a difficult war. This will be a long war. We have so many important achievements, but also painful losses. We know that every soldier of ours is an entire world. The entire people of Israel embrace you, the families, from the depth of our heart. We are all with you during your heavy sorrow. Our soldiers have fallen in the most just of wars, the war for our home. I promise the citizens of Israel, we will complete the work. We will continue until victory.
Jerusalem's top defense official who visited forces from the 669 Special Tactics Rescue Unit highlighted that irrespective of the painful sacrifices, Israel is unyieldingly determined to fulfill its war objectives.
Recent days are characterized by our transition to the next phase of combat. We are employing a large force deep within the Gaza Strip. There are battles which our forces are engaged in. The number of results and achievements in the battlefield is very high. To our regret, there is a price to war. The price from over the past 24 hours is regrettably high. Nevertheless, in spite of this, we are determined to continue to win and strike Hamas until this organization is decimated.
As part of a periodic update on the War Cabinet's decisions moving forward, Israeli National Security Advisor Tzachi Hanegbi reiterated the separate stages which the Israel Defense Forces are executing to date.
The first stage, blocking and clearing terrorists from the south, is behind us. The second stage began immediately afterward. This is the stage of powerful and precise strikes against all enemy networks, based on high-quality intelligence, strikes that are conducted from land, sea, and air. The stage that is currently carried out is that of ground activity that is being conducted in the northern Gaza Strip. This is a difficult campaign that entails fierce combat. There is no combat without a painful price. We are a people of warriors, which experienced pain. We are determined, despite this pain, to win.
Amid continued hostilities emanating from Lebanon by the Iranian proxy Hezbollah, the Israeli National Security Advisor asserted that the IDF stands at the ready for any development.
In the northern sector, the decision is to be prepared for all developments, to carry out a strong defense by a large-scale mobilization of reserves that are already deployed on the Lebanese border, the evacuation of civilians from the line of defense in order to ensure that their well-being is being safeguarded in the event of a head-on clash with Hezbollah, and attacking enemy networks in response to its provocations everywhere and without hesitation.
Jerusalem's top security advisor went on to highlight the War Cabinet's unanimous position vis-à-vis the Hamas terrorist organization and the future of the Gaza Strip.
In order to realize the goals of the war, especially the destruction of Hamas as an armed sovereign in Gaza, we needed to make a mental change. The cabinet, as well as the heads of the security services, have parted forever with operative concepts that was part of our consciousness since when Hamas first seized control of the Gaza Strip 16 years ago. All of the terms of the past are gone and have dissipated. There are no more rounds, no more operations or other amorphous terms such as strengthening deterrence, exacting a price, enacting a painful blow to their infrastructure, or etching in their consciousness. The massacre of October 7th dissolved the illusions that we are facing an enemy that would not dare to risk his absolute destruction. As soon as the fact became clear that Hamas is like the Islamic State, and as such, it has no constraints and views the residents of Gaza as nothing more than human dust that provides it with cover, there was no more doubt in our hearts. Hamas, with its psychopathic leadership and its sadistic murderers, must cease to be.
While repeatedly highlighting that Israel will ensure that Hamas will cease to exist, Hanegbi also emphasized the need to differentiate between Hamas and the non-combatant population under its control.
These monstrous terrorist organizations must never again be allowed to control the Gaza Strip. I believe that this is also the view of a decisive majority of the Israeli public. On the diplomatic front, the fact that the President of the United States has stood alongside Israel is of immense value. It has allowed us to continuously conduct, for almost an entire month, a campaign of unprecedented strength, which will continue in the coming period as well. In order to maintain this support, we are obliged to continue, just as we have been doing since the start of the war, distinguishing between murderers and non-combatants, to persuade the population in the northern Gaza Strip to relocate to protected areas in the south, allowing foreign assistance forces to provide food, water, and medicines to all those who have responded to our call and are presently in the south, to call for providing life-saving medical treatment to all who need it, not in the hospitals that today are command centers for terrorism, that are Hamas and Islamic Jihad command and control centers, but in alternative hospitals in Egypt, which are in a protected area, or on hospital ships from various countries, that have responded to the Prime Minister's initiative and are due to arrive off the coast of Gaza.
It is important to know that while Israel is engaged in the war vis-à-vis the terror groups of the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip, the Iranian proxy Ansar Allah, which is dominated by the Houthi tribe in Yemen, officially declared war on Israel and has launched additional ballistic missiles and one-way suicide drones from Yemen towards southern Israel. Nevertheless, all of these projectiles were successfully intercepted by Israel's multi-layered aerial defense array. Turning to Ankara, where Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan hosted his Iranian counterpart Hossein Amir Abdullahian for a meeting on regional developments. Following their meeting, Tehran's top diplomat, whose country is waging war against Israel via its regional proxies, proclaimed that unless Israel ceases its retaliatory war on Hamas, the region would plunge into regional conflict.
If this war is not stopped immediately and the joint attacks against civilians, the women and children of Gaza by America and Israel are not halted, then the consequences for those who are waging this war will be grave. In meetings that we had in Doha, Qatar, with the political leadership of Hamas, and based on the information received from the resistance, it must be said that if the genocide and war crimes against civilians are not stopped immediately, then we are very close to the point in the Middle East region where a decisive and significant decision will be made.
It is important to know that while Ankara's top diplomat provided Turkey's perspectives in a toned-down statement, a couple of days ago, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan declared Israel to be a war criminal and that Turkey would act accordingly without elaborating.
Now, we will declare Israel as a war criminal to the world. and we are preparing for this.
President Erdogan went on to threaten his NATO allies in the West, warning that their support for Israel could turn into a war between the so-called Crescent and the Cross.
Do you want a new war between the Crescent and you Crusaders again? If you're making such an effort, so know that this nation, the Turkish nation, is not dead. This nation stands tall.
It is important to know that President Erdogan's rhetoric comes amid intensified pressures from within Turkey's Islamist factions, from within his own AK party, which are subject to a robust campaign of disinformation by both Qatar and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I'd like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Moreover, if you're blessed by our daily updates and would like to help us bear the cost of these productions, since TV7 Israel is 100% donation-based, please consider making a donation. You can do so by visiting our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our upcoming TV7 Israel updates. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.